you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lands Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting up with Team 1 in the north, ending with Team 2 in the south east. Starting up with Team 1's easternmost player in Stitch Blue. It is 1-0 Cat going first land as a Seraphim. He is a 900 to his west in Royal Blue. It is Balstrak going first land as a UBF. He is a 1600 in the rear guard air slot hit for Team 1 in Regal Purple. Is Rick Kali going first air as a UEF. He is a 1000 rated in Snow White to his southeast. Blending in with his environment is Zelby Lykov going first land as another UEF here for Team 1. He is a 1600 in Chevy Crimson here to his south. It is Melolo going first land as a Cyber, and he is a 1000 rating. And to his west in Rust, it is the high swing player on Team 1, 2000 rated to be specific. It is Luca going first land as a Seraphim. So for Team 1's side of the map, they have 2 Seraphim, 3 UEF, and 1 Cybern, which means Team 1 lacks Aeon technology. Starting off with Team 2's easternmost player in Ruby Red, it is Themo 29 going first land as a UEF. He is a 1000 rating. To his south in Glow in the Dark Green, it is Exitum going first land as an Aeon. He is a 1200 in Orange Color Orange in the middle of the map. Here is Fawn going first land as a UEF. He is a 1700. And to his west in Tropical Ocean Blue, it is Prugler PDM going first land as a Seraphim. He is a 1200. In Batman Grid to his south, it is Kane going first land. He is a UEF, and he is an 1800, the highest ranked player on Team 2. And in the rear guard slot here for Team 2, it is Rayquaza going first land, second air as a Seraphim. He is a 1000 rated in Emerald Green. And the first legendary Pokemon that I ever caught when I played Pokemon way back when, in the good old Game Boy Advance days. I had actually the Emerald Game Boy Pokemon game, and that's what I caught with the Master Ball on the top of that tower in that game. But anyway, for 6 players, well, 12 players on the map, let's take a look at the reclaim here before they scoop it all up. They have 32,000 reclaim for 12 players, which means we're looking at close to, let's say, 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 of 1,000. So 2.75k mass per player to scoop up roughly. I'm going to do math in my head. But it's at least 2,500 at a minimum. Oh, and Team 2 side of the map, there are 2 Seraphim, 3 UEF, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 2 lacks Cybern technology. Team 1 lacks Aeon technology. And for mass point layouts here, let's take a look at Team 2 side of the map. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Trimex positions here for Team 2, as well as a quad mech position over here for the rear guard air slot players. So each of the frontline players will get a Trimex. The rear guard air slot will get a quad mech. Definitely be able to assist with getting that eco up and running to pump out those ASF and bombers. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what our players are getting up into this game. We see 1, 2, 3, 4 of the players on Team 1 have left their main bases. And looks like the rear guard air slot players is going to sit back and relax. I don't blame him, because, of course, he is going to try to eco up. It does look like Zelby going to go for this Quadmix position here in the west. He's going to be able to pump on a little bit more Team 1 land facilities, but I feel like it should go to the rear guard air slot just due to the fact that, air is very important, especially when you only have 1 player going for it in the beginning. You need to get that ASF count up very, very quickly. We do see a nice little scout and Mech Marine online here for Team 2's getting a nice readout on what's going on the western side. He's facing off against Luker, who is the 2000 rated player of the game. So Team 2's K needs to be on his toes. Doesn't want to be stomped on by Team 1's highest rated player in Rust. Melolo is pushing forward to the south. Not really a lot of passable terrain here in the exact middle of the map. Very thin environments here. Probably get a couple of units. Those look like outbound T1 spam scouts outbound here from Perugula PDM. They will be able to fit through there, but I don't imagine that experimentals are going to have a good time going through there. Even T3 units, very tight quarter. You could probably go single file. You don't really want to do that, especially with T3 units. T1, not really a huge issue, but definitely later on I can see this being walled off or just a kill box here for either of these players. Similar situation over here, except a little bit wider. Most of the attack, or at least on the land side of things, will be in the southwestern corner, right where Luker is headed, as well as Melolo. Transport landing with some engineers. Actually, no, not even engineers, just a T1 Zooey on board. Going to go after some engineer kills here. Actually, no, that's not even a Zooey. That is a THAM, a T1 tank. Looked like a Zooey. And it will be taken out. Unfortunately, Team 2 will be denied that upper plateau for a little bit. Transport is shot down. But at least for the time being, Team 1 has done a little bit of an annoyance against Team 2's Kane. We see to the northeast both of the players here in Ruby Red and Stitch Blue facing off, kind of just hanging out for the time being. Nice little civilian structures that have been abandoned here that players can scoop up and reclaim. So that's going to be a little bit nice for them. Get those ecos up a little bit faster. Distance build in the middle here for Fong, trying to get the height advantage in the middle of the map. Love to see that. We do see Exitum moving westward, but Team 1's Balstrack has almost crossed the middle of the plateau here in the middle. The Team 1 will have the high ground advantage for the time being. Bomber over the top here for Team 1's air player of Reikali, going after some engineers. And it looks like the bombs might drop, but it's going to go further deep into Team 2's territory. We'll get shot down. And even if that bomber was assigned to go after these engineers, the environment would make it very difficult to actually hit them. Maybe a couple of bombs would land, but they're definitely shielded by that cliffside. So, I don't know. Definitely one of those situations where you'd have to probably test that. Obviously, from the east it would have landed, but from the west, most likely not. T2 coming online here for Zelby in the middle of the map. Transport with some mech marines. Nice little ghetto gunship coming online here for Team 2's Fong. Raiding a couple of T1 build power. Going to spam up some T1 AA, especially with some interceptors nearby from both teams trying to shield this. Transport does get shot down, unfortunately. And I don't really think the engineer cost was really worth it, in my opinion. Definitely probably would have put more mech marines on board that transport, make it a little bit more worth it. But, yeah, I love the thinking, love the harassment, but execution definitely leaves a little bit to be desired. Range coming online here for Exetum, going for the Aeon Sniper Commander, at least starting to make progress towards that. And Themo starting to push against 1-0 Cat. 1-0 Cat going for the T1 mech, same as Themo. Themo pushing in with his forces, while 1-0 Cat pushing in by himself. There also are some expansions in the northeastern corner for both of these players as well. It does look like the northeastern players have grabbed both of the Trimex positions here. Team 2's Exectum and Team 1's, who is up here? It is Balstrack. Could have benefited from that, but unfortunately it is not to be. T2 coming in line here for Fong, and I can definitely see a scenario where a couple of PD kind of just encapsulate this environment, so any units that come this direction just get annihilated by fire. So definitely going to delay any sort of attack down the middle here by Team 1. Team 2 is Kane moving in southwesterly, trying to again intercept forces outbound from Luca on the western edge. Both of these players just expanding out as much as they can. No mexes on this upper plateau, but there's a couple of 150 rocks to go after, so definitely worth it to go up there for 10-15 seconds, but not really a lot of time should be devoted to that. Gun speed and range coming online here for Melolo in the middle, trying to again isolate this position, not allow Team 2 to move in. Pergla doesn't have any upgrades. Pergla going for his speed and range upgrade, same as his opponent of Melolo. Kane does not have any upgrades. Gosh dang it, Kane. Literally say something. Kane going for his gun damage and range. And okay, Luker, I know you're building a T1 PD, so I know that you're not going to go for the upgrade immediately, but if you go for that upgrade after you're done, so help me. Jeez. Make a comment about 2 comms on Team 2 not having upgrades and then immediately start an upgrade. It's like they can hear me from the ether or something. It does nice, run by attempt outbound here from Team 1's Luker, while the main forces from Kane are busy dealing with this threat. Nice little move coming in from the edge. And actually, these units can skate on by this upper plateau and get into the main base for Kane. Kane needs to respond to this sooner rather than later if he's noticing it, which he probably does not because he doesn't have radar signatures online, so that's not going to help. Does have a radar over here, so we'll see it eventually, but not right this second. T2 See, I knew he would do it. I knew Luca would do it. T2 coming online here for Luca in the western side of the middle. He didn't go for gun. Went for T2. He's going to be a little bit more defensive, while his teammate of Melolo is going to be a little more offensive. We do see Buzzkill. We do see Zelby moving southward, building some Buzzkill to protect back line. Mexes love to see that in the east. Gun damage and range has been starting to hit for Themo, and Team 1's 1-0 cat has fallen back a little bit. But we do see Exatum moving in with that gun and range/speed upgrade. If I say range, it's speed and range, it's one upgrade, but it is not. Looks like Belstrak's going for the gun upgrade on that right arm. I would assume that's what that is, because it's usually with it. Well, maybe it's no, that's the gun upgrade, and the nano's going to be on the chest as well. Is that the chest upgrade? No, that's the left gun upgrade. I keep forgetting. Is that the left gun? That should be the left gun upgrade. Yeah, it's the left gun upgrade. Most of the time it's the chest, but sometimes it's on the left gun. The UEF, it's the left gun. Having to remember which one is which. You would think after almost 300 casts I'd memorize everything about the comms, but it is very difficult to remember everything about this game. Team 2's Fong has T2 online, going for gun again, trying to isolate this corridor, while his teammate of Exetum is on this upper plateau, fending off some T1 strikers. They do come into range, of course, of the Aurora, but the Aurora have the better range, have the better engagement. And Team 2's Prugla making a play here for Melolo's position. He's going for Nano, I would assume, after that stealth upgrade. Mantis does get shot down by that overcharge. A couple of units do make their way around the southern tip of this plateau. There is a bomber nearby here for Canes that should be able to deal with those quite easily. Nano has been completely hit for Valstrak. He's going to be focused down by those units outbound from Executum. Executum? I think Executum. Sounds like a Pokemon for some reason. Maybe I just have Pokemon on the brain from Rayquaza. Anyway, Kane coming in to assist Prugla's forces and Calm in the western middle. And Melolo is about to finish that nano upgrade. There he goes. Going to be a little bit more of a beast to deal with here for Team 2. Luca on an upgrade. Still probably T2, I would imagine. Just due to the fact that it is the left gun. And usually the left gun is the engineering gun. And Melolo trying to take out Prugla's commander. Kane actually reclaiming, not even caring about going after Melolo. Kane's like, I need my eco. Sorry, I got distracted with my eco. Melolo trying to take out Prugla. Kane going to try to intercept those shots from Melolo, act as a nice little body shield. Couple of shots do get blocked, couple being one. And Kane booping into Prugla. Melo going to drop pretty close to the red. Prugla doing about the same. But again, Melolo's going to take a lot more shots to deal with because he's sitting at 84 hit points a second regen. Prugla has fallen into the red, sub 2,500. If Melolo does go down and Prugla is in range, it's going to be a murder suicide situation. Melolo will go down here, it looks like. Sub 200, sub 100. There he goes. And Prugla gets a rank in veterancy. Kane is in the red. 3,000 hit points, needs to get out of dodge before he is killed off. T2 Ilshi coming online, and if I was Luca, I would just cut straight east with all of that attack power and go after the Calm of Kane. And now it is a 5v6 in favor of Team 2. Nano Repair coming online here for Rayquaza in the middle, as well as Advanced Range online for Exitum, and Tactical Missile coming online here for Fong. You might see another Billy Nuke coming online here for him pretty soon. And Nano on the way here for 1-0 Cat. So both of the Seraphim commanders going, or at least the ones that I mentioned, going for Nano. Luca has gone for T2, upgrading his Mexes. And is going to build a nice little PD to protect them. Does look like those Ilshis are moving in with some Tham escorts. The Calm of Kane has retreated. He's back into the yellow, and Nano Repair has been started here for Prugla as well. So all of the Seraphim commanders on upgrades going for the same one of the Nano. Now watch Luca goes for Nano as well, just randomly, and all four of them are building the Nano upgrade at the exact same time, which would be all of the Seraphim commanders in the game. 4 of the 12 players are Seraphim this game. And Ilshis are going to rip this base apart. Nothing will be left standing. There's not amount of defenses that will deal with this. Even if Kane sends all of his forces, it's not going to matter. The base is up in smoke, and these Ilshis can get behind it. We can even see the orders have been given to go to the other side of that plateau. It's going to take a little bit to squeeze on through, but it will be enough. Nano has been started here for Kane. Everybody's getting nano. Once everybody was getting gun, now everybody's getting nano. And a missile launch outbound here from Fong's commander going after TMD, question mark? No, that's a triad. Going after T2 Mechs over here. Going to kill that off. Might get some AoE spread on that facility. Nope. T2 Mechs is killed off. PD will be built immediately. TMD will be built immediately to respond to that comm. Still, those Ilshis break off, hold off some of these forces outbound from Kane, and a group of them going to try to figure out how to get around this plateau. They're just going to run right into it. Does look like the Ilshis are a little bit smarter than that, are able to go around. T2 flat cannon over here to be able to deal with the bombers overhead. The Ilshis buying a ton of time for those other group of Ilshis to move in, and we even see more Ilshis coming in to reinforce this position. Nano is almost done here for both of these commanders for Team 2. And Rayquaza has finished their upgrade as well. In the north, we see Themo versus 10 Cat. 10 Cat going for Nano, is rooted to the spot. Probably should cancel that. Unfortunately, Nano Repair will finish, but it will be the cost of his death, I feel like. 100% is almost done. Themo retreating and then going to go back into it. His units now surrounding that comm of 10 Cat. Shots have been fired on his comm directly. And that Nano Repair has finished off. 70 hit points a second regen. Units still moving in to intercept, dropping that comm into the red. Sub 2,500 and falling. Themo actually falling back, not wanting to kill that commander off or not get some AoE spread from it, from that volatile explosion of the commander. How are those Ilshis doing? They have been they have been sectioned off by the pillars and are wiped off the face of the Arctic, wherever this is. No, it's probably not on the Earth. It's probably somewhere else. But I don't know. Pluto? Some snow planet. Oh, it's Hoth. It's probably Hoth. Who knows? Team 2's Kane going to hold back for the time being, but Purgo going to push forward. He has Nano on board. 82 hit points a second regen and climbing, of course, because he's going to get veterancy, so it's going to climb. Luker has still only gone for T2, going for fully ringing his mexes on the front line, trying to eco up as much as he can. He is sitting at 148, but his teammate of Zelby is sitting at almost 200. Looks like he's focused a lot on eco. I mean, he's done a great job in going for all T2 mexes, some T3 already. He did grab that quad mex position over here, so it will limit a little bit of the T3 air that could have been built by Ray Kali in the northwest. But Team 2 and Team 1 both have T3 air online. One player, of course, has those quad mex position. The other one does not. Not all of them are upgraded to T2, however. Some of them are T3. Probably should upgrade these mexes first before go to T3. Definitely would be my vote there. Or maybe he's distracted doing other things. He did go for Nano. He's going to try to assist his teammate of Exitum in the upper plateau section. Falstrak is actually falling into the red. Sub 2,500 hit points. That advanced range upgrade on board that commander, proving tons of dividends here for his team in the middle section. But he's going to be walked down by a couple of pillars. He probably will get out of dodge, sitting at 28 hit points a second, especially with Rayquaza coming in to assist. Interceptors over the top for both teams fighting out. And honestly, Interceptors not really a huge threat here at this stage, especially with ASFs on the docket for both of the air plays here. It's nice to have some Interceptors, especially the early game, but it's not really necessary. Again, nice to have, not really necessary. This isn't a 20 by 20, it's an 18 by 18. It's still pretty decent, size of map. So all of our players need to be aware of, if they want quick air response, they probably should build their own. But at some point, it's pretty hard to build T3 air and build a bunch of land and build experimentals and do all that stuff. So you're going to have to just give it to somebody else to deal with. Gun, speed, and range coming online here for Luker. Will he go for Nano? We will have to see. He has T2. Seraphim have Nano in the chest. They're able to have the T2, T3, and Nano and Gun online at the same time. But pincer maneuver in the west here by Kane's forces going for this position here for Luker, trying to isolate any sort of Ilshi production. And essentially try to do exact the same thing that Luker tried to do, just skate that edge of the map and go around to the main base. Luker will be wise to that, send some reinforcements to assist and actually pincer maneuver the pincer maneuver that's happening for Kane. Kane, of course, has Nano and Gun on board. Of course, has access to overcharge as well, so going to be able to wipe out a lot of these Ilshis with one shot very, very easily. PD online, that's not going to help. Not having his pillars with him, that's also not going to help. and he will be shot a decent amount of times in the face. But he is pushing into Luker's position, and Prugler acting as a really weird kind of buffer. There are a couple of units skating on by him, but Team 1's Luker does not engage Prugler, who's going to stand here and defend. Prugler getting a little bit, far forward here with his units going into Team 1's territory. We do see just a huge wall section out from him, isolating this movement here from Fong. Fong essentially going to be just the recipient of all of the firepower from Team 1 Zelby, if he so chooses to go that way. But 3 players on Team 2 have highly focused on this upper plateau. Fong, Rayquaza, and Exectum are moving and trying to force back Valstrak. Valstrak has taken a ton of hit points, just essentially to the face. He's been overhealed and he's just losing hit points. He's at 2-star veterancy. He has Nano and Gun. So he's repping up 62 hit points a second regen. Pretty nice, especially for a UEF commander. But, has to sit behind, can't be on the front lines with his units. And it has given a lot of momentum here for Team 2 to exploit. Team 2's Themo has pushed back 1-0 Cat. 1-0 Cat constantly moving back and forth. We saw him kind of rooted to the spot on the wall over here, going for Nano. And he did complete it. He did get out of dodge, but, he's losing territory in the northeastern corner of the map. And it's looking like Team 2 is in the lead for map control at the current moment. They're over the 50% mark in terms of, slicing the map down the middle. The only the only area on the map they're not actually over that halfway mark is the upper plateau. I don't count this one. There's not really a lot going on here, but this one's definitely a lot more important. And Team 1's Valstrak holding off against 3 players for the time being. Shield coming online here for Exectum to get some more hit points on board that commander, even if they are a different form of them. They're not whole. They're shield in nature, so they can be recharged at the same time, which is very beneficial. But it's not like one giant pool of hit points, unlike the Seraphim variety, where you can have 52,000 whole hit points and no shield. I still would side with the Seraphim on that one, just due to the fact that, again, 52,000 hit points, not relying on power to power your shield. Kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Demo pushing it against some Percy's outbound from Zelby. Zelby sitting at 330 mass income, able to pump out Percy's very, very quickly, especially with skipping the Titan phase. It's usually the first phase here for UEF players going for the Titan, but Percy's, again, there are situations where Titans are very, very useful, but overall, in terms of just army versus army, Percy's all day, every day. You will not be able to convince me otherwise. Another group of Ilshis outbound from Luca, trying to reclaim this position and even getting some... Is that a brick? That is a brick. Outbound from him. Looks like it was either donated or he built it himself. Either or, there is a brick online for Luca and has some more coming in to reinforce with some Authams. Team 2's T2 force is not enough to deal with this. The Ilshis, again, are T2.5 as well, so it's essentially 2.5 and 3 versus 1 and 2s, and that's really only going to go one way. Kane trying to establish a nice central position for himself and his team. Gun Splash coming online here for Prugler. Don't really see that upgrade for the gun for Seraphim commanders. Usually it's Advanced, Regen, Aura, or what's the other one that's on that arm? Advanced, Regen, Aura, and either the T2. Usually that upgrade is usually the ones that I see. Not really the splash damage. It's nice to have kind of an AoE splash on your cannon, but it only really works if you're facing off large groups of units. If you're facing off against a single combatant, not really that useful. We see T2 again, Team 2 with those 3 comms in the upper plateau, just forcing back Team 1. Valstrak actually moving down to the lower section of the map, going to help Team 1's 1-0 Cat on the defensive measures over here. They notice this side is starting to fall, and if one flank entirely capitulates, it makes it very difficult for that team to really hold on, unless they can get a hard defensive line online. And Themo starting to be isolated here. Lots of pillars nearby. There are some ASF flying over top here for both teams, so T2 transport kind of out of the question here. Looks like missile launching outbound here from Fong to assist, going after 1-0 Cat's comm, but actually misses and takes out 3 pillars instead. Definitely would take that trade. Themo is dropping into the red, and there he goes! Got shot down by those Percys. And Team 2's Themo is defeated by Zelby with some assistance from 1-0 Cat and the forces from Valstrak. It is a 5v5 game. Both teams have lost a 1,000 rated player on their team. They didn't lose the highest rated player. Team 2 lost. They were actually tied for lowest ranked player. But, rating, again, rating is definitely, it's not the entire measure of somebody's skill. It could mean that somebody hasn't played in a very long time. It could be they just had a string of bad matches. I've had that before where it was just like, I could not win for some reason, whether it's just, I wasn't, my APM wasn't high enough, or I didn't see this strat that happened, whatever the case may be. Rating isn't the end-all, be-all, but it definitely just goes to show you that, oh, Luker, 2,000 rated player, is going to be really good at this game. Probably should focus on what he's doing, or focus on, what he's doing, how he's doing it, how he's trying to counter me, that sort of thing. 1,000 rated player isn't going to be as difficult to beat, but still take him as seriously as I would the 2,000 rated. And that's my philosophy is I don't care if you're a 100 player, 1,000 rated player, 2,000 rated player, a negative whatever player. I will take you as seriously as I do everyone else. Doesn't matter your rating. That is my opinion about it, because that is definitely deserved in this game. That is the glorious Supreme Commander Forged Alliance forever. And Fong trying to do his best to defend some T1 units over here in the east. Percy's, this is the situation in which having Titans would be very beneficial. Most of these units would already be dead at this point. And Fong trying to use his comp very aggressively over on this eastern side. Needs to watch out, because if he is on board a transport, ASFs from Team 1 come nearby. It's not a good day here for Fong. Just be very cautious of that. We do see some not the fighter bombers over top here going after more Percys. Outbound from Zelba, using the walkway to their advantage. Yeah, it looked like it was a walkway. It wasn't the transport. I don't see any transport wrecks nearby. Those Percys are dealt with. Team 2 will thank Team 1 for the reclaim and call it a day. In the southwest, another drop outbound here from Luker, using the transports very, very effectively and aggressively here. Drops behind the wall sections that are being built by the engineers. This position will be wiped out. Not necessarily once again, but Percys have been redirected to go after these bricks. 2 T2 Mechs will be killed off. One of them fully winged, one of them not. And I feel like those Percys will win that fight, or at least be able to curtail most of that damage pretty quickly. And at 24 minutes on the clock, let's take a look at the game overall. Team 1, 5 players left. Team 2, 5 players left. One of each team has lost 1 player. Team 1 producing 1.3k mass income. Team 2 at 1.1k mass income. And about map control, I mean, there's a lot of no man's land now here between the teams. But I'd say it's definitely about even, maybe gifting it just a tiny bit more to Team 2. But just barely, just because of this upper plateau section. That's really it. Everything else is pretty much 50-50. That brick is being dealt with, but is going to get a decent amount of kill. Oh, and it died. I was noticing the shields around it. Like, oh, it's going to get some shield, parashield kills, and then it died. Anyway, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Please, if you haven't done so already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you so very much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much for all the time, the effort, the support, everything that you give to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Transport with some Percys dropping once again, and some Cougars. I love to see this group of Percys and Cougars. You never really see it. It's usually just all ground damage, but going after some AA, love to see it. Nathas are moving in to intercept. Nathas need to target the Cougars immediately. And of course they are targeting the Percys, which means the Cougars will get a decent amount of value out of them, because they're not being targeted. And it looks like Team 2 is actually at 1.3k income. They probably had some power-related generation issues, so that's why they're ecos. But still, they're still down about at least, let's say, 150 mass income for Team 1. So Team 1 definitely in the lead with that. And at the rate that Zelby is pumping out Percys and transporting them on and around the map, Team 2 needs to get some either mobile or static or both AA online immediately. Because multiple times we've seen Team 1 use that transport to get units behind their lines. They've been able to do a decent amount of damage. More mechs is killed off here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not a mech. 4 mechs is killed off here. Maybe even a 5th one, counting this one being T1. No, that one's probably still T1. But still, killing off mechs is here. Killing off mechs is here. It really takes a toll on people's APM and eco and everything to constantly have to go in, rebuild, send engineers over, transport engineers over, whatever the case may be. It's very annoying. He has no units, and PD, says Themo. Talking about 1-0 Cat, and really, no, he's right. Team 1's 1-0 Cat has no, he has AA defenses, but no PD. Some TMD as well, but if Team 2 were to send in some units on the land, it would definitely win that fight. Percy's land once again from Zelby. Overcharge kills off 5 out of the 6 of those Percys. And Transport is killed off immediately after landing. Oh, that is now a 5-star vet commander. I should have checked how much mass he killed off beforehand, but if he didn't have 5 stars, he has it now. That has got to hurt. 5 of the 6 units dropped immediately, killed off by an overcharge. That's got to hurt. And I would love to see Team 2's player of Exectum gifting over some units to Fong. Fong is really just sitting on this eastern side, has a ton of units nearby. Could easily be gifted over, but Exectum just more than happy to just manage them himself. He's been gifted over everything that Themo had, which makes sense because it would have gone over to Fong. Actually, it would have gone over to Kane. Kane's on the western side, just gifted it over to the nearest player, and that would be Exectum. But if Exectum is killed off, then Fong will inherit everything over there. Monkey online here for Team 1's Luker, augmenting his forces with Cybrin Tech. I would prefer UEF Tech in my opinion, but still, you know, mixing it in, getting some nice faction bonuses going on, definitely beneficial. Unfortunately, this in the last game that I casted, having Cybrin and Seraphim tanks is nice, but the torpedo capability isn't used because the fact that there's no water. I mean, yes, it is a snow map, so technically there's probably water somewhere, technically, but it's frozen. They can't hide underneath the surface of the water because it's not frozen. It is frozen. It's not melted, so torpedoes are kind of useless, and that's where the Percys do shine. Even the Harbinger would be a little bit more beneficial just due to the engineering suite on board and the personal shield. But the only, again, one of the downsides to the Harbinger is the fact that it has lower hull hit points. It has 1,000 more, has 1,000 shield hit points. That's it. I don't know. Maybe there's some calls, maybe buff up the shield hit points to like 1,500 instead of 1,000. I don't know. I feel like the Harbinger is definitely underused. It's the only mainline T3 unit that the Aeon have access to, so they're kind of forced to build it in large land armies. But I feel like Harbinger just needs a little bit more love, in my opinion. See if I can find one. T3 is being built. I'm assuming Harbinger is online somewhere. Mobile artillery is being built up by Exectum, not going for Harbingers as we speak. And still building blazes and all of that. Percy's the main unit here for Team 1's Balstrak now, and that's going to really rip apart this Aurora land army here. T3 is online building a Harbinger, so I'll check that out in a minute, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. For those of you who are obviously aware, you know what I'm talking about, but you know, I always like to point stuff out. Percy, that's a 3-star veteran. See, Percy, that's a 2-star. Where I just need a bog standard or regular. There we go. 7,200 hit points. Brick at 7,500. Autumn at 47. So the Autumn is pretty weak in terms of mainline tank, but it does have 2 fire rates as well. It has a secondary fire and a primary fire. That definitely augments its damage. Harbinger should have been built. There it is. 3,600 with an 1,000 hit point shield. Has engineering suite, so it can reclaim, which is very, very beneficial, but I feel like it doesn't get as much love or as much action as I think it should be. Bunch of Ilshis augmenting these forces here for Team 2's Brugler PDM. He's also going for sniper bots, trying to attack at range. Man after my own heart. Attack the stuff at range so they can't shoot back at you. That's definitely beneficial. You cut the costs in terms of a resupply, in terms of, you know, essentially having to rebuild units, rebuild infrastructure, all of that. Not infrastructure, units, because if your units are being shot at and you're able to shoot at the enemy, then you don't have to worry about it because eventually your units will kill them off. That's kind of how that works. And the Crab being distracted by the Ilshis to the west. Take the troops of Rayquaza. You do nothing, says Themo. And very funny, Themo in red, Themo also in orange. For some reason, don't know why, but the dead player's sign, you know, the symbols and colors next to the name don't always match. Start adding flak to the mix, and Percy, Exectum, a few gunships as well. Trying to help his teammate. Definitely love to see that outbound here from Fong, trying to help his teammate and trying to, you know, win the game, essentially. Obviously, that's what the whole purpose of playing the game is, to try to win it. But, you know, trying to say, hey, you should add some AA, add some gunships. Just trying to, again, make your teammate a better player. And even if that player ends up fighting you later on, it ends up being a better match because they're better at the game. It's a more, not necessarily fair match, but it's a, you know, like, hey, I'm fighting to my strengths. I'm not like fighting against someone who's a a total noob and doesn't know how to play the game. Like, I'm fighting against someone who knows how to play the game very well. But another drop outbound from Zelby. Constantly love these Percy drops outbound from him, but I think they're getting less and less value out of them. They're going to get some T3 Mechs killed, which would be nice, but and is the mass worth it? 2,700 mass killed versus each Percy about 800, so if they get 3 Mechs kills, it's definitely worth it, but I don't know about that. Huge army been transferred over to Fong, moving in to push 1-0 Cat. There's a lot of orange over there on that side of the map. Team 1, Zelby also trying to assist with his forces over here. A couple of the PD and a couple of engineers to build battle lines. PD being built here by 1-0 Cat as well. Love to see him using the height advantage, being able, again, using the edge of the of that hillside, cliffside, to be able to at least shoot down. The direct fire weapons have that disadvantage if they don't arc. The Cerberus is the same way in that regard. But this land army is just continue to march down Team 1's throat on the eastern side. 1-0 Cat going for an advanced nano as we speak. Has Splash on board. Second Seraphim commander I've noticed to go for that Splash cannon. Crab in the middle that we saw earlier defend the western approach. Here for Luca pushing back against Team 2's combined forces of Prugler and Kane. Kane has a decent amount of Percys and has some Ilshis from his teammate, and also those sniper bots have retreated. And that Megalith is going to get 1-star veterancy, and those sniper bots are going to die if Prugler does not get them to retreat, which currently is not. And that's not going to go well for that group of sniper bots. But it does look like those Percys are going to come in and intercept. There are a decent amount of them, and that Crab will immediately start to retreat. I don't know if he'll get very far with that in terms of Kane's forces, but we'll have to see. Orange units moving in now eastward, avoiding the base here for 1-0 Cat, going after this fire base. Obviously, there's also a ton of gunship support outbound from the airplay of Rikali. Haven't seen a lot out of him recently. Tons of ASF for Zelby as well. So it looks like it's a dual air player scenario. That is a huge air grid here for Team 1 Zelby. Actually outpacing that of his teammates' air facilities. And the air power being very overpowering here for Team 2 to deal with. Team 2 only has that one air player. Psych, they have 2 air players starting here for Fong. He's probably going to expand here pretty shortly. And a third air T3 air facility online here for Exectum. So might be even a 4th no, it's just T2. But transport is available here, and Volthu's also coming online here for Prugler. So every remaining player on Team 2 has some sort of T2 or T3 air facility. But Team 1 is just pumping those gunships out, and it's done a huge number on that land army for Fong, really forcing them back, getting tons of value out of them. Again, every kill that the broadsword gets is 1 more land unit that doesn't die due to this land army. And there's just tons and tons of value out of this. I did have a viewer comment on a video a couple days ago. I don't like stingers. For those of you who don't know, I don't find the stingers very useful in my opinion. I say the weakest T2 gunship in the UEF, well, in the lineup for factions, but specifically the UEF lineup. Someone talked about putting a mongoose on a stinger gunship, essentially making a ghetto gunship out of it, which would be very interesting because broadswords can transport units. It's not really used that well, but if the stingers can do it as well, that would really augment them. Obviously, it would cost a lot of mass for building the mongoose and then building the T2 Stinger gunship, but it'd be very interesting to see how that plays out. If I think the mongoose can fire, not all units can fire while they're on a transport, only some of them can. Having a Percy be able to fire off a Continental would be insane. That'd be the best ghetto gunship, putting a Continental with 6 Percys. Oof, that would be a lot. But talking of gunships, we see these gunships outbound from the Team 1's airplay going after that Colossus. Colossus gonna kill off 1-0 Cat, and that laser trying to track that comm. Can't seem to get a good beat on it. It does look like possibly that comm tried to be transported, but does get killed off by Team 1's combined forces. It was almost a good sniper attempt by Team 2, but just could not make it happen here in the game. 34 minutes on the clock. Team 1, 1.7k income. Team 2, 1.6k income. So about the same, a little bit favoring Team 1, but not by that much, at least in this stage in the game. Units outbound here from Luca causing some havoc here for Kane's forces over there. Kate and Luca being very quiet. Bong kills off 1-0 Cat due to some Percy's. Looks like 1-0 Cat came into range of those units and died because of it. Is now a 4v5. It looked like he got away, but I go to look at something else and he dies. That's usually how that happens, right? You wait for the nuke to launch, wait for the nuke to launch, wait for the nuke to launch. It doesn't launch, and then you go somewhere else, and then it launches immediately after that. It's very annoying. Just like it's kind of funny how I was like, oh, Prugla doesn't have a gun upgrade. Oh, it started. Oh, Kane doesn't have a gun upgrade. Oh, it started. And then Luca builds a upgrade, as I said he would. One of those things. It kind of can tell I've casted almost 300 games where I'm like, hey, you should be building a gun upgrade. Oh, you're doing it. Look at that. I'm just a couple seconds ahead. Advanced Nano coming on the way here for Rayquaza in the southeast. Going to be able to be a little bit more protected with the amount of hit points aboard that commander. And just the amount of regen you get from it is insane for Seraphim commanders. 200 plus hit points is nuts a second. It is a lot. Yelby finishes another experimental. It is not a crab. That's one he already built. That commander is in... The commander is inside a Fatboy. Is Valstrak trying to pilot a Fatboy? Is that what's going on here in this game? You can just the like idea of a commander inside of a Fatboy either being transported or not. Very entertaining. Felt the ground shake. Did someone die? Nope, someone did not die, but it's just very, very funny to look at. There is another Yothotha, says Exectum. Yes, there is here for Prugler. Looks like they're going to assault that crab once again. First of them was killed off. The second one moving in to intercept. Lots of dead T3 units here on the western side here. Mostly going to go to Team 1's Eco, just due to that crab is guarding that reclaim very heavily. Team 2 has been pushed back once again on this eastern side. It's Colossus versus Fatboy. Fatboy venturing a little bit too far forward is producing units on board. Explosion in the northwest, and Valstrak control K's. Don't know why. Don't know if he had to go somewhere or not, but those units are transferred over to Zelby. At least the Fatboy is, and it's going to retreat. Actually, not retreat. It's going to go to the front line. Again, don't really know what happened with that, but it is now a 3v5 in favor of Team 2. And I would assume that is a satellite. Yes, it is, because it's not being targeted by Team 2. And it's going to go after all the mexes or the air grid or both here for Team 2. That's definitely what I would use it for. Especially with a lot of mexes being unshielded. Trying to snipe at Team 2's eco ever so slightly. Team 2 now ahead in the eco game just by a little bit. A little bit. Not by much. But probably less than 100 mass to be fair. But, you know, we'll see. If it ticks over to 1.9, it's definitely over 100. Brass coming on the way here for Luca. That'll augment his reclaim his income at least a little bit. And Team 1's air players looking nice. Going for a nuke and a second nuke here for Rayquaza. I don't know if it's... I know if you have a bunch of mass, it's better to just spam them down. But if you want to just have a couple of them passively load, it's better in terms of the... Maybe you're kind of limited on generation for mass income. In this scenario, I feel like it'd be better to just have the one loading. Especially if you're trying to load one and build another one. It's not really that worth it. It's just better to just load one of them and call it a day. We have a bunch of white, of course, being Zelby's forces, forcing back Team 2's Colossus, and that's mainly due to the gunships over top, but there are more AA protecting this Colossus once again here. And the Colossus grabbed the transport. Haven't seen that in a very long time. There's only been one match ever that I have seen a comm on a transport being grabbed by a Colossus and killing the comm because it was crushed to death. The transport, not the comm. The comm just exploded because if you kill the transport when a comm's on board, the comm dies. The comm just can't just eject and land. You know, not that it can't just, you know, teleport all the way across the galaxy or anything. If it takes like 2 feet of fall damage, it explodes. Kind of reminds me if you've ever played The Witcher, where you know Geralt can just fall over like a short cliff and lose most of his HP because he fell like 3 feet. And you can shoot fire and manipulate people, a whole bunch of stuff, but for some reason falling 3 feet makes him lose half his HP or more. Transport with another set of Percy's on board, getting in behind that Colossus. Colossus will still die, but reinforcements will be able to secure this territory here for Team 1 once again. But Army outbound from Fong once again, now through the upper plateau position, going to go after the Crab. Crab will be perfectly fine. And might I say, the white coloration with the like little bit of red detailing looks amazing on this model for the crab. Looks really, really good. Yeah, nice little, again, little detailing here. Just the developers and the artisans for this game, very, very good. Did a very good job with units, especially Seraphim in general. Seraphim units, beautiful, beautiful units. Not that I'm partial to the Awasa Bomber or anything. That chicken, not really my favorite design, to be fair. And the Ilshi, while very powerful, looks like a unit is walking backwards. That's just what it's just what it looks like. It's like arms are backwards and everything. And a tactical nuke has been started here by Fong, and gunships coming in to assist the defensive measures. The AA will suppress them and force them back. And Ion Storm has activated. T3 land headquarters will be under threat, might actually be destroyed, and it is. Team 1's Luker loses access to Seraphim. T3 land tech still has his Cybran ones, but loses Seraphim ones for the time being. Huge amount of ASFs here for Zelby. 280 ASFs here for Team 1's air player of Zelby, and Ray Kali has 900. So we're talking about essentially 400 ASFs for Team 1. Team 2 sitting at 136. And I don't think any of the players gone for massive ASF production. No, they have not. So Team 1 essentially at a close to 3-1 advantage. Actually, no, it is essentially a 3-1 advantage in the ASF game. Team 1 could essentially airlock Team 2 quite easily. And artillery fire starting to rain in here from Team 1. Looks like it's at least one Duke at a minimum. Yep, there's one Duke here, and I feel like there's another artillery piece somewhere. At least that's what it looks like with the yellow dots moving across the map. No, it's just one, it looks like. And it's starting to shell Team 2's air grids position. One facility does get destroyed, but more pigeons for Quasar. More pigeons. Drop bomber is launching its payload. Don't know where it is, but I can hear that little whistle of the bomb. Team 2 not really trying to end the game. They're trying to just survive it. Team 1 looks like they're trying to end it with that artillery and satellite move. And again, it's very important. You can't just survive it. You have to win the game. That is partly the reason why you play the game, is to try to win it. Not just to... I mean, there are some games where you just play to have fun. But most of the time, it's a better experience for everyone if you're trying to win. But then if, like, you lose, you really, like, you gave it your all. You fought, as much as you could, and the other opponent just beat you. So, just one of those things. Artillery still raining in on Rayquaza's position. Satellite being able to take out all of the mass. Team 2 at 2,000 mass income. Team 1 sitting at 1.6. Most of that for Zelby. Luker and Rakali under 300 mass income each. So it's really Zelby is the driving force here for Team 1, especially on the land and air game, of course. There's no naval game, so only 2 theaters of war matter. Team 2's Fong pushing in with some land forces on the other side of that plateau. But still, with the amount of infrastructure that Team 1 Zelby has, whether it be ASF, gunships, or Percy's, it's not really going to matter. Team 2 needs a high concentration of shields, AA, experimentals, you name it. They got to have it in spades and then some to be able to deal with Team 1's infrastructure and production capabilities. Tactical Billy Nuke has been done here for Fong, going for T3. Don't know why you need a T3 for having a Billy Nuke, but he does. 20,000 mass killed on board that commander, and that's before the Billy Nuke has been completed. Colossus going to charge, head forward into some Percy's and a Fatboy. Fatboy constantly producing, assuming those are parashields, so being able to protect those units and experimental very easily. The inversion of the lasers, you can actually see it, because if it was the regular color, we're going in way too easily. Percy's fighting Percy's. It's a UEF civil war going on here between these two teams. And that's a lot of firepower from that Fatboy directed to that Colossus. Percy's trying to actually push on through and just get to the Colossus. That's the main threat here for Team 1 to deal with. Large group of army moving in from the east here from Team 2's Fong. Nice pincer maneuver happening. Using the Colossus as bait, bring these forces in. Now more units coming in to assist this defensive measure in the east. That Fatboy might get out of dodge, might not, but there is a decent amount of forces here for Exectum trying to play chicken with a, not actually play chicken, play hide and go seek, excuse me, with a crab, trying to use the environment to their advantage. The western side, that crab still online, and will fall down. Monkey killed off 2 crabs. That crab wreck is still there, to be fair. Another crab wreck back here. Team 1's forces for Luker are retreating. And TML's trying to be a little sneaky and go after some T3 Mechs, but TMD going to deal with those quite easily. Team 2 is starting to lead the map control game, but Team 1 has a ton of ASFs. If Team 1 Zelby really wanted to, he could just blitz down all the ASFs for Team 2 and still have at least 150 to spare at a minimum, even if Team 2 has a bunch of AA online, whether it be mobile or otherwise. The numbers are really dangerous for Team 1, and that number is only getting bigger. 255 with Ricali at 134. Nuke will launch here from Team 1 Silos from Ricali in the northwest, going after Prugler's base. SMD is online, so that will be shot down, but the threat of Nuke is now live for Team 2, so they got to be aware of that. Are they going for any sort of game-ending plays? Satellite has been started, almost done here for Kane. I don't see any artillery being built. I don't see any game enders. I don't see anything of the sort here for Team 2. Fatboy being built. I just don't know if Team 2, focusing a little bit more on the end game than they should, is not focusing on as much as they should. There we go. Another satellite has been started here for Team 1 Zelby. And teleportation outbound from somebody on Team 2. Looks like that is some SACUs, Rambo Preset Commanders. 30,000 whole hit points and 20,000 shield hit points. And that one is teleporting outbound. I'm going to actually click on him to watch him teleport over there. That is the wrong one. Oh, and he went, never mind. There he goes. Going in, going after the P-Gens. Again, 50,000 hit points. There's a lot of hit points to chew through. Going after the air grid. There's not a lot of shields protecting it, so it's going to be a nice cascade. Damage is kind of pitiful, to be fair, but still the main threat is to be annoying. Those gunships now called over to defend the air grid. Will he get a P-Gen kill? Will he not? Again, though, those gunships are inbound. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Intruder in the main base, essentially, here for Team 2. Let me put it back to observer mode. That intruders in the main base. Intruders in the main base. Reclaim order has been started to prevent the explosion of the P-Gen. So it didn't actually save it, but was regenning this one to prevent its explosion. So that didn't really work here for Team 2, but I love the move here. Essentially doing a telemaser without the laser. And another another crab kill in the west. Team 2 has a lot of reclaim they can scoop up. Massive missile barrage outbound here from Team 2's Kane, going after the main T3 land headquarters for the Cybern faction, or part of Luca's lineup. And it is inbound. TMD is not going to be enough to deal with these missiles. And there they go. Kills off it instantly. Team 1's main land player in the west has lost T3 land tech in both realms, both in the Seraphim and the Cybern tech variety. Another missile barrage outbound going after SMD, question mark? Gunships outbound here from Team 1 Zelby, going after whatever's over here, actually going after this facility. That is not going to last very long, it looks like. Missiles are outbound. More Team B are being built as fast as they can be. Is it going to be enough? It looks like it is going to be enough. Ooh, that was very, very close here from Team 1's Luca. He had the mass to spare. ASFs move in and go after those gunships. Huge value out of these gunships being eradicated, but not fully, focused on here by Team 2. Definitely a missed opportunity in that regard. Another nuke outbound here for Team 1's rearguard air supply player, Ricali, going after this base here for Fong and Exectum. That's going to go down. And Team 2's Fong is actually moving in closer. This might be a kill on Team 2's second highest rated player of Fong, and that's going to hurt. Don't need to know about mass fabs, please. Looks like there's more efforts to go for teleportation from the SACUs from Rayquaza. And that nuke is inbound. Does Team 2's player notice? He's building his Billy nuke. Oh, is he going to be in range? Just barely is not. Takes a little bit off the top, but it's perfectly fine. He's going to be able to rep those hit points up very, very quickly. But that could have been disastrous here for Team 2, losing that player on the eastern side, especially with a land army engaging. I do love the opening of the nuke saying, hello, I'm come to say goodbye, essentially what those Perseus are saying. Colossus charges forward, is taking a ton of damage because of the nuke, tries to go after that Fatboy is able to get its laser on the shield, but it doesn't matter. That Fatboy will be protected by all of those Percies. But counter Fatboy online, again, it's going to continue to drive northwestward. Unfortunately here, those Percies from Team 1 are able to blitz that down very, very quickly. Once the shield, well, I was going to say once the shield is not online, but the shield is still online. Oh, is it going to be? It's not going to be enough to kill the Fatboy off. 4-star veterancy, 120 hit point regen versus the 20 hit point regen on a bog standard Fatboy here from Team 2's Eastern players. Dual nuke launcher online. One of them killed off 86,000 mass. One of them killed off 0 mass. So one paid for itself quite heavily and one did not. Billy Nuke outbound here from Team 2's Fong. Could have probably gone after that Fatboy had he built the Billy Nuke fast enough. And there it goes. Going to impact that Percy directly. Forget you in particular, says Fong. I don't like that Percy for some reason. Kills off even more mass, up to 33,000 mass killed off from that one commander. And artillery? Yep, that's artillery. And 47 minutes on the clock. Team 1 still at 1.7k income. Team 2 at 2,000. Have they transitioned to anything else other than T3 land / T4 land? Satellite is online. It's taken a shot, but it survived. And Satellite's focusing on Prugler's base here. Artillery is online. Oh, and the shields aren't being... Oh, shields. The shield wasn't focused, and the pigeons weren't focused. That's gotta hurt. Oh, all you gotta do is take out the pigeon. That's essentially it. Shield is down once again. And there goes an artillery shell. Lands takes out all of the PD and one of the emitters. 3 lasers over the top with artillery fire is not good for Team 2's Burglar. And Team 1 has has 4 satellites online for his team and for himself. Artillery landing after the Mavor in the northwestern corner here for Ricali. Don't know if that's... I feel like T3 artillery would be a little bit better in this situation. Having a game ender is kind of nice, but I don't think it's that needed. I don't know, 48 minutes on the clock. Don't know. Artillery is focusing it, so I guess it's doing its job in focusing the fire from Team 2. The artillery piece is down here for Prugler, and his base is up in just... It's not feeling good. It's definitely at the doctor. It's getting its getting its annual check saying, hey, you're not feeling so well. You have kidney failure, liver failure, or a leg needs to be amputated or something. It's just not feeling good. An ASF fight that I've been waiting for the entire game to happen. Team 1, I don't know if they devote all the ASFs to it, but it looks like most of them. Team 1's other player of Ricali comes in to assist. Tons of gunships. They'll have some AA, not very good, but something. And Team 2 has lost all of their ASF, which means Team 1 has air dominance and just going to be steamrolled by those gunships. And it is not going to feel good. Bases are going to go up in smoke. AA needs to be spammed up immediately, both T3 and T2. And look at this just wave of gunships inbound. Doesn't even care what it's going to hit. Just going to fire at everything. T1 AA being spammed up. Sorry, Team 1 AA is not going to cut it. You need T2 at a minimum for those gunships. So the flak can sit there and just eat away at the hit points. Duke coming online here for Kane. He's going to be focused down by 4 satellites from Zelby. 49 minutes on the clock. This gunship might be enough to end the game here for Team 1's favor. But counter pushing going on for Fong in the middle of the map. So while the main air grid has been annihilated, probably by artillery fire, I would assume, it has not been good here for Team 1 Zelby. Another satellite online, so that's number 5 online here for Team 1. And those gunships are a menace to society here for Team 2. The only satellite from Team 2, at least the one over here, is down and dusted. And that air grid here for Team 2's Rayquaza is gonna see better days. And they're killing everything in their path. T3 AA trying to do what it can. You need a lot more of the 30, 40 pieces at a minimum, if not more. T2 as well. AA is being spammed up by multiple lines of those engineers. Looks like the gunships will be warded off for the time being. They're going to actually go after Prugler, it looks like. Prugler trying to just assist the shield, it looks like. And Prugler, it's not going to feel good there, buddy. It's not going to feel good. Fuel SMD says 1-0 cat. I mean, that would be a good idea, opening the door for the nuke. Are there any nukes loaded? No, but if there was a nuke loaded, that'd be perfect. Constant Billy nuking on the eastern side here. Yeah, that's definitely a a Billy Nuke. It looked like a regular nuke, but it's a little bit too small. Prugler being focused down by the gunships. A decent amount of AA in the area, though, but more gunships do show up. They're kind of moving back and forth. All of them don't want to die to the AoE explosion from the comm. Don't blame them for that. And this is going to be it for Prugler's career in this game. 50 minutes and 43 seconds on the clock. Team 2 loses another player. It's now a 4v3 in favor of Team 2. But this gunship has teared a hole. There we go. In Team 2's infrastructure base, everything. Team 1, 1.6k eco. Mass income. Team 2 at 1.3. It was at 2k, and it's dropped 700 mass. Essentially, almost half of that eco has been annihilated. At least a third at a minimum. Looks like that push is dissolved here from Team 2. And Janus over top going after that megalith. That is, that megalith's not feeling good today. It's probably had some Indian food and having some very not so good outcomes from that said Indian food. Indian food is very spicy. Kane defeated by Zelby just by satellites. It's a 3v3 tied up game. And those gunships now going after Exectum as well. There's not that many gunships left remaining, but again, the damage is done. Team 2's Fong will inherit everything that Kane had that he got from Prugler. That's how that works, kind of a hierarchy. Another final ditch effort here from Team 2's Fong to push this northern side that once belonged to Zero Cat. Tons of Percies and Percies and Percies and Percies and more Percies. And more Percies and Percies over here. And where's the transport with the Percies? I gotta probably get a nice little thumbnail or something with the Percies on the transport being like hot dropping Percies into combat. Oh look, there's a Continental sitting here with a couple of engineers. That's always fun. And Fatboy just gonna full send it. That's essentially all that Team 2's Fong can do at this point. With a Maywar coming online here in a while, but dual nukes. T3 artillery with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 satellites online. Main bases for Team 2 are going up in smoke left and right. Artillery focusing the SMDs, looks like it, from Team 2. And I think at this point, it's just the beginning of the end for Team 2. They put up a really good fight. Nuke is outbound, going after Fong's commander. Fong sitting there trying to build another Billy Nuke on his backpack. And it's not going to feel good. He's not going to move. It looks like he's just going to sit there and take it. There goes that nuke. It is outbound. And sad face says Prugler. I'll check on that in a second. There he goes. Fong notices it's too late. Kaboom. And Fong is defeated by Rakut. I don't know the reference to sad face. Othams question mark? I don't really know what that's about. Team 2's forces being assailed by Luker's Megalith. And it's now a 2v3 in favor of Team 1. Satellites over top trying to target Executum's base. Has 2 satellites as well for himself. But I don't think those are going to last very long, unfortunately for him. Team 2 didn't go into artillery phase, end-game phase, and going for they had 1, but probably could have devoted a little bit more mass to that. I think they tried to win on the land side of things. Team 1 kind of gave up on that, went for defensive measures, and it really played to Team 1's strength. And Rayquaza's team does recall, meaning this match is won by Team 1. And the MVP for Team 1 has got to go for Zelby. Produced a huge air grid and really just drove the gunship point home to Team 2, being like, I'm going to win in air. I'm going to have gunships. You're not going to go anywhere. Goodbye. And also his satellites played a huge role with artillery combination. Went after Kane, killed Kane off, killed off Prugler, tried to kill off Team 2's airplane for Rayquaza. That didn't work, but at that point, diverted to Prugler. Huge opening here in the southwest with 2 of those comms dead. It really just messed up with all of the chain of command and all of that. Fong being killed off by Nuke. At that point, Team 2 had pretty much lost the match. But still, Team 1's Rakali in the northwest got a nice little kill on Fong. So, definitely a nice little feather in his cap. But I think overall, Zelby played a huge role, especially with those Percies constantly dropping. Not everyone was perfect. We saw one where, of course, 5 of the Percies were automatically killed by an overcharge. But The point being, those Percy's hot dropping everywhere, constantly being annoying, constantly running around the map, constantly being transported. I made a comment earlier in the game that Team 2 needs to get AA online to deal with the gunships. Oh, sorry, not gunships, transports. They have AA all around, but I feel like it was a little bit too late at that point. But let me know in the comments what you felt about the pick for MVP or the game overall. If you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. Thank you so very much for watching to the end of the video, and I will see all of you in the next one.